Welcome to the iAchiever Expert Series with your host, Ram Iyer.
In a world where you optimize systems to give the maximum financial leverage, we optimize them, we make them more predictable, we de-risk them. What do we do when we do that? We make them more fragile, because to do that, you have to assume that you know what the future is and that they're not going to get hit by the exogenous force. This model worked. When I grew up, this model worked. It's a command, control, and conquer model. It's Taylor time and motion study. It's just in time. So all these optimization mismitigation assume that you know everything that's going to happen and you can predict that. When you do that, you can optimize the system and you can get better results. But what happens is when they get hit by an exogenous force, they break. And you saw this during COVID. Supply chains broke that were optimized. Companies that were financially leveraged to give their shareholders maximum return when they were going up, guess what? That knife cut even worse on the way down. The financial leverage that gave them better returns. So Six Sigma, another thing. A system, let's make it more predictable. What does Six Sigma do? When you have an exogenous force that hits it, when you have something like COVID, it breaks. And that creates fragility. And that's what we've been teaching people. So people say, well, I don't want to be fragile. I am resilient. Well, I'm robust. Well, wait a second. If that's what you are, then you're just keep going straight. I'm going to ignore COVID-19 happened. I'm going to ignore these other things. I'm going to succeed no matter what. That's not anti-fragile. That's a neutral condition. You're just bulldogging going through. And I would argue that's not a great strategy.
Correct.
Anti-fragility says is that I acknowledge that things that are beyond my control are going to happen, things that I don't know. Those black swans, as Nassim Taleb talks about. And when they do, I will embrace them. This is my time to shine. So while fragility is a negative condition, robust or resilient is the neutral condition. Anti-fragility is the positive condition where they get stronger in the face of change, adversity, of uncertainty. And that is a mindset, skill set, and way of operating that is, to me, completely correlated with entrepreneurship. In other words, mindset, when I know something's going to change, I see it as an opportunity, not as a bad thing. If this window closes, then there's got to be another window open. Let's get to it quickly. I have the skill set to do that, identify opportunities and act on. And the last thing is the way of operating is a community-based model as opposed to a command, control, and conquer model. So that's anti-fragility, why it's so important, and why we at MIT tie it so directly to entrepreneurship, because to me, it's one and the same.
Yeah, because see, I give people a rather simple example. I said, if I come and try to push you to the floor, you are rock solid, you're robust.
Yes.
But it still means that you're remaining in place, you're not moving anywhere.
Right.
2, I managed to push you to the floor, you're weak. 3, you managed to get up and get back to the position you were at, you're resilient. Okay? So now I come to try and push you one more time. But let's say your wife comes from the left, your son from the side, and Ed Roberts comes from behind. Are you equipped? Are you capable of figuring out that these people are also trying to push you and how you might react? In other words, do you get better irrespective of whether you have small setbacks or small successes? Do you become more confident and more capable over time?
Yes.
Only then do you become anti-fragile.
Yes.
People think that getting back up, resilient, I'm great. But guess what? You just got back up, but you're going nowhere.
The great ones in this, I just used an example the other day. Stephen Curry. I don't know if you follow basketball.
Golden State Warriors.
Steph Curry had some of the worst ankle injuries people have ever seen.
All right.
And what did he do with the ankle injuries? He used as an opportunity to work on his ball handling skills and his shooting. And he acknowledges to this day, there's a great article, If he hadn't, he wouldn't be the greatest shooter of all time.
So that was an opportunity for him to pivot.
Yeah. And he said, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit here and have a mindset that I whine about this? Am I just going to get back to where I was? No, I'm going to use this opportunity that I'm not able to play for 2 seasons to work on my ball handling and shooting to get back and be better. And it's interesting because, Biden embraced this anti-fragility theme when he said, we're not building it back. We're building it back better.
Very true.
So this concept is taking on, and when you think of the great basketball player of all time, Larry Bird, he was a great player in the second quarter and the third quarter. But when the game was on the line and people were getting hurt, he took it to another level. That's what we're talking about, anti-fragility. When other people are getting, it's getting crazy and the crowd's getting on you, you don't just keep doing the same thing. You ratchet it up to another level, which is precisely your example. You don't just, I don't just stay where I am. I don't just get back up. I get stronger each time.
Yeah. See, I kind of thought about this the other day, and I had another distinction. We've been trained, think about the management school. We've been trained to develop convergent thinking, whatever it is. Take all of these things, and you have to distill it down, because there's only one right answer. You got to go find it.
Yeah.
Anti-fragility is divergent thinking. It's the exact opposite. It's saying, you know what, things didn't work. Now think about 27 different ways of doing it. And some people go, oh my gosh, I've been told to do convergent thinking, and this is divergent thinking.
Yeah.
And that they immediately panic, and it's like the end of the world.
Yeah.
In your travels, when did you discover anti-fragility, and when did you make the connection between anti-fragility and entrepreneurship?
I've been talking about it. You heard me talk about it before COVID, but during COVID, it became crystal clear that this was the essence of entrepreneurship. Because the world is going to continue to move faster and faster. It has got all our life, and it's not ever going to get slower. And so if it's not ever going to get slower, that means there's going to be more uncertainty. That means there's going to be more adversity. That means so anti-fragility isn't just a nice thing to have. It's going to be a trait that's a Darwinian trait that allow you to survive. And that to me is entrepreneurship. Okay. And if we can't tie ourselves to that, we're not teaching the right type of thing.
Let me ask you one very fundamental thing, maybe a bit of a challenge. If it's so important, why the heck aren't schools teaching anti-fragility to entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs are being taught how to create great decks, business plan, market sizing, TAM, etc., all of which are important. But if the person is incapable of developing an anti-fragile mindset and behaving in an anti-fragile manner, all of that is for naught.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wouldn't say that doing these other things you said are those things are against anti-fragility.
No, I'm not saying they're against. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that
it's by themselves they're not sufficient. Right?
Correct.
And to me, anti-fragility comes down to a mindset, skill set, and a way of operating. And the skill set involves some of those things you've talked about. But are we appropriately spending time on the mindset? And the answer, I believe, is no. But there are a lot of places that are, and kudos to those who are. But the other thing is a way of operating, and this is something that I feel like people aren't onto yet. Is that we have been trained, and you and I have been trained in this from a very early ages: command, control, conquer. That's how you win. That's how you win. Command, control, conquer. But Howard Stevenson at Harvard once defined entrepreneurship as the pursuit of opportunities with resources beyond your control. What do you mean beyond my control? That's not command, control, right? Yeah. And that is precisely what makes you anti-fragile, right? Yeah. How do I not just have the mindset to want to excel, not just have the skill sets of doing the planning and the market addressability and demographic, psychographic analysis, all these types of things. But how do I then get it done? How do I get those resources?
Thank you for listening to the iAchiever Expert Series with your host, Ram Iyer. will bring you thought-provoking and practical conversations to help you become better, smarter, and more successful, helping you achieve your personal greatness. All from the perch of Ram Iyer, the thought leader, author, keynote speaker, workshop leader, and mentor.